right, we got Owen Koonce here, Coach Mike DeGeorge, and Trevor Baskin with us. Coach, start us off since we talked to you last. You guys had the 0-2 week at home and then the 2-0 week on the road. Just a couple thoughts on this past week's games and how the RMAC season's gone so far.
Yeah, the 0-2 weekend was bad, and the 2-0 weekend was good. Obviously we had some problems that weekend, and I think the team really came together to address those issues. And I think we saw a reflection of, the direction we need to go moving forward. We didn't solve everything, but I think we took a big step forward this past weekend. But you kind of saw in that second half versus Regis when they changed some of the things they were doing, we sort of fell back into old habits that we're not real successful with. So, we recouped and won the game, and it was a great weekend for us on the road. But moving in the right direction, but still a ways to go in terms of really playing at the highest level this team's capable of.
Trevor, for you, you're leading the team in scoring and rebounding right now. Just maybe talk a little bit about what this season's been like and if it's been different from last season, which was sort of a breakout year for you. Now you're the guy everybody keys in on. Just talk a little bit about the difference there.
Last year's definitely different with Jared and Georgie being our main leaders, and then we had to have people step up. But it's never been a goal of mine just to be the leading scorer or anything like that. It just kind of happened. And I was talking with Coach about it earlier. Now that I'm kind of experiencing double teams now it's just taking a growing process of knowing when to pass out and when to finish. We were watching the game against Regis, and there was times where I passed out, and there were times where I didn't, where I should have. So it's really just a growing process and finishing better. My shooting has not gone as efficient as I would like it to be because of some matchup changes that I haven't gotten to experience yet. So it's been good, though.
Owen, for you, Coach, talked about how you guys made some changes to go in the right direction. What were some of the things you thought the team did against UCCS and Regis that are sort of the – Coach used the phrase old habits. What are some of the new habits you guys built last week that you think are a step in the right direction?
Yeah, I think just on the defensive and offensive end, just playing together was a big thing that we did last weekend as opposed to 2 weekends ago. And just, I don't know, just being there for each other in the game, after the game, during halftime, like building each other up, not getting on each other's nerves too much. So I think we did a good job of doing that last weekend.
All questions?
See, Trevor, Coach has talked a lot about you guys all have different roles this year, and like you mentioned, you had Jared and Georgie last year to kind of do all that. Is this kind of a leadership by committee type of thing so far?
Yeah, there's not just one singular person that we all look to. There are different moments in different games where different players step up and lead by example. We've talked about it before how Mac leads with his effort. Blaze is really the ball-dominant point guard, so we always look to him for confidence, and some people are just energy guys. Reese is being stepped up, so Levi's been a great leader, and it really depends on the game. Isaac's been really vocal. There's every game a new person steps up, so I think it's very good that we don't have a single person, but it's different. But we just got to make sure that at least a couple people are always stepping up to be vocal at some points, because we can't have a game where no one steps up to be that guy to look to and stuff like that.
And Owen, the second year in the program, it just looks like you and Isaac both now have got a good grasp of the system and all. What are some of the differences that you've seen over last year for you guys?
Honestly, just being in the right spots on the floor at the right times. Fewer mistakes, mostly on the defensive end, I would say, just because the system is a little bit different than what we're used to. New concepts, it's always different from when you transfer and you go from one team to another, different culture, different system, different program. So, yeah, we're just both getting more comfortable playing and on both ends, and so I think we're doing pretty good and ready for the rest of the season.
So, Mike, what have you kind of seen from Owen and Isaac, especially with that second year? You can tell the last couple of weeks, you can really tell the difference, it looks like.
Yeah, I think just starting with Isaac, like defensively, just from the very first practice of the year, he was just in a totally different place. He really sort of fully embraced our concept and understood it and just played with a comfort level. It wasn't that he wasn't trying hard or didn't believe last year, but he kind of had to think through everything, and now he's just able to react. And, that's been great to see. And then, being a kind of a shooting guard role in our offense is challenging because – we're lead guard dominant and we're using ball screens to create an advantage. So you just don't know when you're going to get touches. You don't know how many opportunities you're going to get in a game. And so that is a difficult thing offensively. And I think he struggled a little bit with that in that sometimes there's gaps between his touches. And I think having him and Reese out there together was a nice dynamic, having two sort of shooting guards on the floor with one lead guard really seemed to help the flow of the offense, and it allowed those guys to get more touches, be more integrated into the offense and have more opportunities to make plays. And so I think what we saw this past weekend offensively is what we've seen from him all fall in practice offensively. So part of that is just kind of finding your way within things and us finding better ways to utilize guys. And then in Owen's case, he really just hasn't practiced very much. Basically he probably played in as many games as he practiced in last year. Like, you were injured so much, we were always trying to protect him for the games. And then, this year he's coming back still from those injuries, so he didn't get a full allotment of practice. But we've seen a consistent growth in him in terms of just more and more comfort level of being able to react rather than think. And I think we'll just continue to see that trajectory. And, we've kind of moved him more from a 4 to a 3, which has helped him as well. I think it's just kind of simplified things on the court for him, fits him naturally. And he's just so athletic. When he gets threes guarding him, he can just go up and score over them. And it seems like that might be a little better fit for him offensively as well. So, it's just an effort by all of us to help find ways to utilize them the best, help them see what they need to do to succeed here, and then just getting the reps to be able to react rather than think. And we've certainly seen them both move a long way in that trajectory.
Coach, can you just talk a little bit about Coach, can you just talk a little bit about some of the freshmen that you have on this team right now?
Yeah, so we have 2 true freshmen. Elijah Knutson has gotten some opportunities and done really well when he's gotten chances. We're having to adapt our defense a little bit to integrate him, and so we're working on some more things in practice, and have just started to utilize some of them in the games that'll allow him to be able to play within our defense successfully because of his size. But his on-ball defense is really good. His team concepts are really good, and then he's just such a threat to shoot the basketball that he changes the game when he's on the floor, just because he's just such a threat from wherever he is, whenever he crosses half court, and that impact is profound. And I think that as we go through the year, we'll see him continue to have a bigger and bigger role. And then Ty Aldred is a redshirt freshman who's been getting some opportunities. It's really about defensive matchups for him offensively. He's playing a little rush in the games, but what we see in practice is he is an elite offensive player at our level, and there are times where he just absolutely dominates practices at the offensive end. He still needs to clean up some executions, some consistency at the defensive end. So matchups are pretty important for him to get opportunities. And then the way Trevor and Mac and what we got out of Mick off the bench this past weekend, those guys were all playing great, so sometimes there isn't an opportunity to get him in the game, but he's certainly deserving of opportunities. So those have been the 2 guys that are kind of new to Mav fans that have had the biggest impact.
Kind of for all of you, a different week with only one game, but it's a big one in kind of building momentum going into a break. How big would it be to kind of win that one and go on a 3-game win streak into the break?
Yeah, I think that, hopefully it was kind of rock bottom after we lost to Metro at home, and then it's something that we can build out of. I think we've started with that trajectory. I think there's a clear path forward, but it's also about just the continued execution and growth out of that. So to take a step back this weekend and not be successful after a bad weekend 2 weeks ago, we've lost now 2 in a row at home. I don't know the last time that happened here. And so it's a very important game in terms of that. And then coming out of finals and being able to manage sleep and studying and being able to not lose a sense of rhythm with the reps that we're getting, all that's always really challenging. And then, we all look forward to a break and being home at Christmas and and being able to stay focused and not looking past Saturday night is a real challenge for everybody. But it's a big game for us.
I was gonna say, it'd be great to go into the break with another win. That'd be 3 games in a row, which would be big for us. And our goal kind of is just get better every game, because there's a lot of time from now and to the end of this season where we have a lot of room for improvement. And so just getting better every game is kind of the goal, and hopefully we can do that starting this weekend.
Yeah, I think this game's really important because it'll leave us much more optimistic and much more confident in our abilities when we're coming back from break. I'd be pretty miserable if we ended the week off. I'd have to deal with a week of losses with nothing to do. So I'd be pretty miserable in Mexico. But it's also I had to throw that in there. But
we're feeling real bad for you.
But no, but the break will be nice just to get back, let the body heal a little bit. Just get time to relax. It's been nice. My coloring final was Monday, so I'm done with that. But so it'll be nice just to relax after this. But we really want to get this win on Saturday.
You guys have talked about the importance of the game and wanting to be 3-2 in conference, but just say a little bit about the opponent and Adams. You guys watching film and preparing for them, both what challenges are they going to bring, and then what is the key for you guys going up against them for stuff you need to do?
Yeah, they just have, in my opinion, a unique system. They have this great balance of freedom where their players have the freedom to make plays within a general structure, and so their players play very free and loose, and but it's by design, and they're very well coached, and so it does create problems for us because we like things, our group like things that are black and white. It's like that gray area of not being able to tell them exactly the way they're going to defend a ball screen, or exactly what the press is going to look like when they press us, or exactly what their zone is going to look like when they go to zone. Those issues have always been challenging for us with them. And so our ability to sort of be able just to react in the moment, we saw it against Regis. They kind of changed what they were doing at both ends of the floor, changed some personnel at halftime, and it took us a while to adapt and adjust to that. So Adams creates that challenge for us for sure. And then they just have really talented players, a lot of guys that are capable of scoring Division I transfers, some freshmen that are going to have great careers there. And so they're a young group and they're a first-year group, but they're going to just keep getting better as the year goes on, and certainly bring lots of challenges for us to be ready for.
Yeah, I mean, there's some high school former Colorado players that watch through the club and stuff, but for the most part, it's a relatively new roster, so we don't know exactly what to expect from a lot of them. Last year, we kind of had the advantage of knowing some of their main players who have been there for a while, so it'll be a real difficult challenge. So we got to watch a lot of film to understand the tendencies and the concepts that a lot of these players play with, because we can't use that to our advantage because we can't base off of what we played off of them last year and the year before. So it should be a good challenge.
All right, you guys, question of the week. We got Christmas coming up, so all you guys can share one of your memorable Christmas gifts, either one you've received or one you've given, up to you. But what's a memorable Christmas gift that stands out for you guys?
For some reason, I think I was like 5 and my sister was 7, and there was these things called cold-nosed puppy. It was like just a little toy, and it was just like a little puppy, and it moved around a little bit. For some reason, that sticks in my head. Like, it's always been a memory, and it was like I just remember being super excited to get my cold-nosed puppy that year for Christmas.
I guess it was kind of a gift I gave. I think it was one of the first years I'd ever given any of my family gifts. I think I was like 5 or something, and I obviously didn't know much to do. But my sister and I were doing a game where we would give hints to each other so we could guess our Christmas gifts before Christmas. And I think I got her Junior Mints. I mean, not a great gift. I just knew that was her favorite candy, so that's all I got her. But the night before Christmas, she was like, "What is it?" And I was like, "I don't know, but it's Junior, and it's like mint flavored." So, and then she played. Luckily, she played dumb to make me feel like I actually surprised her on Christmas. I got frustrated with her because she acted like I didn't. I was like, "I'm giving you pretty good hints," but yeah. So that's one that sticks out to me.
I took a new coaching job when I was in my 20s, and it was before my wife and I were married, and we were getting pretty serious. And so we ended up getting married 2 days before Christmas. So this will be our 28th wedding anniversary. So Christmas for the last 28 years has been not only about our family, but about our marriage. And that's been the best gift for me, for sure. So.
And going to Mexico isn't a bad gift this year either, right?
That's right.
That's true. Yeah.
You got to decompress after your what was the class?
Coloring.
Coloring.
No, I'll have. We're talking about it in film. Reese, I'll have a better GPA than Reese this year, maybe. I'm gonna throw that out there. But he took his organic chemistry and physics finals today, and I was taking coloring and
4.0 is a 4.0.
hunting and fishing.
Right,
So yeah, so I was yeah. So,
Coloring is a class.
no, it's just a business joke because business majors have typically easier classes than exercise science and pre-med. So he was taking organic chemistry, and I was taking pretty not easy classes, but not nearly as demanding academically as the classes he was in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.